In a show of hands, how many of you guys have been affected by cancer? Whether if it was personally, or if it was a friend or a family member, a neighbor, or a teacher, most of us have been affected by cancer. Personally, I have had really close friends who have lost their parents to cancer, and I've also had family members who have lost their life to cancer. Here at Missouri State's campus, I'm on the Up Till Dawn Executive Board, which fundraises for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So I did a little bit more research on St. Jude to share with you today. I'd like to share with you the background on St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, some of their achievements, as well as how they received their funding. First, let me tell you a little background on St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It was opened in 1962 by a former entertainer, Danny Thomas. Danny promised back in 1962 that no child would be turned down due to race, religion, or inability to pay. By inability to pay, I mean nobody pays a cent. That means they pay for their transportation to the hospital, their living arrangements, their food, their clothing, their toys. If they want to get out in Memphis and go to the zoo or something, they pay for that as well, which is really awesome. St. Jude's official website, was recently updated, showed that 7,800 patients were just treated alone last year at Memphis campus. Memphis campus is the largest and the base of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, but there are also affiliates across the United States, one being here in Springfield at Mercy. So that's really cool that 7,800 were treated just in Memphis alone. That's not including the affiliates around the country. Now that we've heard some of the background, I'll tell you a little of the achievements they've accomplished in the last 50 years. The website titled Community Health of America, dated in 2012, that since 1962, the opening of St. Jude, 50 years ago, the rate for ALL, which is the most common form of childhood cancer, went from 4% to 94%. So that's pretty awesome. In the last 50 years, they've boosted the survival rate to 90%. All the research is done on the Memphis location, and they've kind of coined the term the hospital with no walls, because the research is actually done above the floors of where the patients are being treated, and they share all of their information with hospitals around the country, so not only kids are being cured or trying to find research for their cancers at St. Jude, but they're also doing it across the country. Another thing that I found really cool is that there's a cafe on campus called K Cafe that was donated by K Jewelers, and it's the only cafe on campus, and it's very large and it's super nice. But the cool thing about it is that doctors, patients, family, and the researchers all eat lunch together. So a patient can eat lunch with their doctor as well as the researcher that's helping them find a cure to their cancer, which is all pretty awesome. FriendsofSt.Jude.org, the Young Professionals Against Childhood Cancer, their recent information page shows that since the opening in 1962, the overall survival rate went from 20% to 80%. So that's a 60% increase on all childhood cancers in the last 50 years. In order to make funding or these achievements possible, St. Jude needs funding. It is a nonprofit organization run completely off of the funding. Up Till Dawn is just one of the avenues of their funding. Up Till Dawn is on not all campuses, but they're on college campuses across the country. We have one here at Missouri State, and then in the past 7 years, we've raised over $300,000 for St. Jude's. Chico State raises on average $100,000 a year towards St. Jude. So it's a really cool organization, and I'm on the executive board, and I love being a part of it. StJude.com recently posted that 81 cents of all of their dollars are donated directly back to St. Jude's research and treatment to the children, which is very high for a nonprofit organization. It does cost $1.7 million a day just for St. Jude to open their door and treat anybody, which is very, very large for a nonprofit organization, but they use every cent towards curing childhood cancer. So they definitely need fundraising. So that kind of brings me back to what I want to do at St. Jude. As a PR, I don't want to necessarily work within the health part of it. I'm not a big needle blood type of girl, but St. Jude has their own separate department, or I would say like organization, called LSAC, that does all the fundraising for St. Jude. They have their own executive board, their own president, so it's like a different part of St. Jude. Just last year alone, LSAC raised $885 million. So personally, that's what I would like to get out and do. I'd like to fundraise, and I'd like to get the money for St. Jude. John P. Moses, the Chief Executive Officer of LSAC, stated in June 2012 that LSAC was established solely on the purpose of fundraising. So their job is to fundraise, show awareness, but fundraise at the same time. In closing, I told you a little bit about the background, their achievements, and their funding. In the future, I hope that less and less of you, as well as your children, have to raise their hand for being affected with cancer. Are there any questions?
So, are the doctors paid?
Yes, they're paid. Yeah, and they're paid like most doctors. They take a small pay cut because it is a nonprofit, but I spoke with several of them when I went down for the collegiate seminar over the summer, and they said that it's more like they get more rewards from helping save these lives than they would for getting the extra money.
Where would you work if you were doing PR? Like, would you have to go to the Memphis campus, or if you work any of them?
The cool thing about St. Jude is that they have the Memphis campus and they have all the affiliates. With LSAC, I know personally 3 that live here in Springfield that they'll deal with Up Till Dawn, and they'll also deal with Mercy. I could work at the Memphis location. I could work in Baltimore. I could work in New York. It's kind of, you have to be flexible with LSAC. Once you get up higher in the company, you'll definitely be able to pick where you want to work at. Yes.
Do you know where they get most of their funding?
There are a lot of celebrity contributions. Robin Williams is a big contributor, Jennifer Aniston, but then they also have Kay Jewelers. They have Chili's donates a lot. Chili's has a day that all of their proceeds go straight to St. Jude. Target is a really, really big fundraiser. Ronald McDonald House donated a full campus for people to live at. So they have a lot of big corporate contribution, and they also have celebrity contributions.
Thanks, Bailey.